Alright, we finally got the fender loose. Let's go ahead and take a look at that thing and see what we got. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go like this. Now, I want y'all to remember one thing. This is a factory fender. We need to say that we do not want to have to put aftermarket fenders on this car. But I'm going to tell you how we're going to do that.
Welcome to D.I.Y. Automotive School with my friend Pete and Minnie, the body shop girl. It's everything you need to know about cars and more.
So we got two choices here what we can do. The owner's already purchased a patch panel, which is this action right here if you look real close. So he's already purchased this. Now, I believe they sell this piece right here, this inner structure. That would possibly be the way to go. Now, another way that we can do this is we can actually purchase an aftermarket fender. But as I'm looking at the inside of this fender, the only part that's rotted is right here. So I was thinking if we bought an aftermarket fender, then we could cut off what we want and then throw the rest of the fender away. We're going to see what the option is on the best angle. So since he's already got this piece, I'm thinking the best route to go is to go ahead and order two of these right here, this inner structure section. And then we could go ahead and build this section up first. Then we can go ahead and take this and only cut off what we need to replace it. Now the rust goes all the way, look at this rust goes all the way up into this area right here. So we'd have to go at least an inch to an inch and a half away from that rust. And then over on this side right here, you can see where the surface rust is riding way up here. So either way we look at it, we're going to have to replace inner and outer structure on these fenders. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and remove the other fender, get that done, and then we're going to see where we're at on both fenders and make our mind up exactly what we're going to do. The fender actually looks really good right in this area, and all it needs is a good blasting. We can get our buddy Steve to blast this fender with some light air pressure and dustless blasting, and probably save the fender. So let me get that other fender off. We're going to take a look at it, and then we're going to go from there. I did notice in the trunk right here as I was walking past it, every time, let me go ahead and explain something. When you're restoring a car, every time you walk past it or every time you glance at it, always look meticulously for stuff that you didn't see before. And here's something I found, and I'm going to go ahead and show you that. Look right there. Can you see that? That's where the seam sealer has separated from the trunk and the inner fender well. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to gouge all that out. If he wants it done right, we'll have to repair that. Now on the inside of this, the floor looks pretty good. Okay, we won't know what the floor actually looks like on the trunk until we get that gas tank out. So always keep your eyeball on the vehicle as you're walking around it. When you walk past it, if you're just glancing at it, if you're talking to someone about the car, and look meticulously at places that are going to need special attention. see, we are back on our Chevelle, our 1971 Chevelle big block. And I'm finally doing body work on the left-hand side of it. Now, remember we had to replace a partial quarter panel on the lower side, and that fender well was really jacked up. We're going to look at that in a minute. But what I'm doing is I am locating all my damage, and this car doesn't have a lot of damage, all right? But I want to get as many imperfections of it that I can out of the vehicle and do the job that I can do at the best of my knowledge. So I noticed that there was a little bit of imperfection right in here where it was a little bit wavy. So what I took my spoon hammer, and I am now in the process of trying to get that high spot out. And by using our spoon hammer, or whatever you want to call this, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you something about this. Just buy one. Don't get on YouTube and look at these, big time professionals making them out of springs, leaf springs, and spring steel and all this other stuff. Break down and just buy one that's already made out of hardened steel and be done with it. This is actually an old Blue Point, a Blue Point hammer that I bought on Snap-on probably 30 years ago. And I mean, it works great. So when you use one of these, what you want to do is when you hit it, you want to pull it back. Slap it and pull. Slap and pull. See how I'm doing that right there? And then that should get rid of the high spot, the unevenness in the panel that you're working on. So if you look at our damage now right here, you can see that we used our slap hammer on it, our spoon hammer, slap hammer. We went ahead and slap and pull, okay, nice and, you see there? All right, and now what we're going to do, we're just going to take our handy metal file. You can purchase one of these online for about 20 bucks. Really awesome tool to have. And then we're going to go ahead and use that file. And you're going to see where our high spots are as I file it. We're going to eliminate that. And there you go. That feels really nice. I like it. And I think it came out great. To finish it off, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our air hose just like this. How y'all doing out there? And I'm going to get my air file with 36 grit on it, and then I'm going to go ahead and file that down, and it should be ready for primer. And look at that right there, perfect. No Bondo needed, no extravagant body work, countless hours of block sanding and all this other shit. Our 2K primer will do the rest of the job that we need to that. And we just eliminated some high spots, low spots, and everything else using this right here. All right, spoon hammer, slap hammer, whatever you want to call it, and our metal file. So if we look at the door where it meets the quarter panel right here, you can kind of see the dark primered area? That means that's a low spot. So we're going to go ahead. I noticed that we had some imperfections on this edge, which is pretty common on these cars. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this edge up using my 36 grit Rolo-Lock grinder. And as I'm cleaning it up, I'm actually concentrating on this edge. Do you see how it removed that line right there? Just by using our 36 grit Rolo-Lock, it removed that edge and is now nice and flat. We went ahead and found a dent right here. I went ahead and used my body hammer. I pounded it in. It was probably an imperfection from the factory. So before I apply my Bondo there, I'm going to take my file and that's going to show me where my low spots are. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and mix our Bondo up. And once again, this is the U-Pole Gold Lightweight Bondo. They actually have two different golds. There's a featherweight, which is more money, and then they got the standard U-Pole Gold. This is the standard U-Pole Gold, and I'm really shocked how good and consistent this stuff is. And they're not paying me to tell you about this. This is just me passing on to you. I didn't get any free Bondo, so just to let you know, my friend Pete shares all of his tech tips, helpful hints with you that I can to help you get a better quality job, and I don't charge anything for it, so pay attention and you'll learn. That's the main thing. So we've already put 2 coats of Bondo. This was a pretty big accident here, and we're going to go ahead and apply. Hopefully this might be our last coat on this. This might be our final coat for primer ready action, and you can see I'm trying to feather it out as I put it on. Very important to learn how to use your Bondo spreader. A lot of people say I make it look easy. Well, if you do it for 40 years plus, you know, all your life. I've been doing this since I was 15, 16 years old. Yeah, that's a lot of practice. So just practice makes perfect on putting Bondo on. That's all I can tell you. And that's the way that it should be. So we got that right there. Let me go ahead and squeeze another little right there like that. And that came out nice. I like that. We got a dent right here that we just found. Remember that? So this one, it's gonna look a little sloppier because we're gonna make a filler. This is our filler coat. You always got to put your filler coat on first. And down here in this area, you want to be very careful not to get any Bondo in that reveal line right there. So yeah, that's really important. So we're going to add more Bondo onto that than we need. And then right here, there were some door dings. This will be the final coat on this. You can see how I'm putting it on. I'm feathering it out. And there you go. So we'll let that dry, and then we'll come back, and you can see how far that gold goes, because normally I would use all that on a dent like this, but by using this gold, I'm still getting used to it. I didn't even use half of what I normally would use with regular Bondo, so there you go. Okay, so as we move down to the quarter panel, this is what we got right there. That's where we had to replace that, if you remember, and then around this edge. So it looks like a lot of Bondo, but it's not. That's just the filler coat, kind of like what you saw over there. We'll go ahead and break that down with our Bondo Buster and our happy dandy air file down there. And then we'll continue to repeat our process on this, just like we did over there, and move forward on our Chevelle. Now that we got the bodywork done on the left side, of course, this is not, I'm going to be honest with you, this is not our final bodywork. This is just roughed in for primer. All the cars I do the bodywork twice, sometimes 3 times. But you got to get it to a point where you rough it in and get it pretty accurate so you can at least prime it and start actually working the body to get it laid down and straightened out to perfection. So this is just a roughed in bodywork, primer ready. That's all that is. Let's walk over to the other side and check out what we got over here. And we're getting ready to start on the rust repair on this one. I don't know if we're going to watch this whole segment here, on repairing the rust. The rust isn't as bad on this side. We can go ahead and look right here. This is the only part that's rusted on this fender lip. The top up here is in really good shape and solid. And then if we come over here, we're going to go ahead and focus on our rust repair on the lower quarter. So I've already taken my Royal Lock grinder and I've chased the rust down. And another thing that I noticed, and we'll look at that, I'll show you that underneath, is somebody's already fixed this once. Right in this area right here, you can see where it's been welded. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but let's get the camera and look underneath and you can see where they actually either made this piece right here or they took a piece of the rear section like I'm going to do and put it on here. I believe that this piece that they replaced has been made because it doesn't match up to the inner fender well or the floor extension. So if you look right here, you can see this is where the quarter panel patch that they made is. You see that right there? It's just stopped. It didn't go all the way to the lip right here and match up and finish. So that's telling me, and another thing is right in this area right in here, you can see where the weld is. This has been patched in before. This is a homemade patch that they probably made and put on there to protect the rust up until this date. So we don't know when that was done, but yeah, definitely been patched before. Originally, it would have went all the way across and then boxed in, and I'll show you that in a second. And if you look at the bottom of our patch panel, you can see what I'm talking about. This actually goes all the way over, and it's a finished edge that matches up with the fender well. So that's a sign that that has been replaced. We're going to be using approximately this much right here. This is what we're going to use out of it, and patch that lower section up. What I'll do is I'll measure to where the rust actually stops up in this area here, and then I'll measure that, and then I'll measure this, and I'll kind of cut this out. I'll cut this out first, and then I'll come back, kind of trace it on there. I'll cut it a little smaller and shimmy shammy my way in to replacing that. So on this area right here, this is going to be a little bit more trickier to fix. We're going to have to cut this out all the way up here. Our pen isn't working properly. Let's get that ink out of there. Well, we're going to have to cut this out all the way and go all the way down like right here. And this is what worries me about this. And then of course we'll have to come across here because it's all rotted over here as well. So this whole corner right here is completely rotted out. So this is what worries me about this, is we might have to make this from scratch. We might have to come back and find some panel sections, such as this area right in here. Okay, we might have to cut this out of this panel and use it over here on this panel. Does that make any sense? Do you see what I'm doing here? Or this might be tall enough where we can literally just cut this section out right here, okay? Because see how this actually goes, this has that indentation right here. So I might be able to cut this section out right here and use it right here. Once again, I want to go ahead and say that this car is really in immaculate condition. I know we're looking at a lot of surface rust over here on the frame and the rear end and the underneath of the car. And we're going to cross our fingers that when we blast the bottom of this and we blast that frame, that it's not rotted and rusted through. If we actually blast the bottom of the car and we find out that the floor is full of millions and millions of little pinholes, we got a real big issue going on. So let's just keep moving forward. We got to get all of this done. Once this is done, we got to do the body work. We got some major body work that was done over here, probably where the car got hit or something right in this area, but the door is in excellent condition. We'll be able to pull this out, fix it, line it up. All the body lines are great on this car. And then, once we're done with that, we're going to move on to probably the worst of the whole car, and that's the two front fenders. Over here. Is it on?
Yeah.
Is it recording?
Yes,
Good.
Mr. Narcissist, you're on.
Now I'm a narcissist?
You've always been.
How's that?
You've always been.
How's that?
Always.
Oh, okay, whatever. I don't know what the fuck that means, but I don't like the name. Especially from my wife.
Look it up, and your picture.
Especially from my wife.
Next to your name.
What?
But your picture will be right next
Oh,
to the word
okay.
narcissist.
Yeah, sure.
Look it up.
Sure thing. What we're doing today, we are
David Loyce, make it happen.
We are fixing the rot and rust on this. Now, I'm trying to save the owner money by patching it. Making a patch panel instead of replacing, going out and buying a whole fender well to replace this much. But I'm a narcissist, remember?
You don't even know what that fucking
I'm a narcissist because I'm showing people how to do stuff.
That has to be.
So I took a flat piece of steel and it took about 10 or 12 times of cutting this, but I got it to where actually when you get this, and this looks kind of weird, doesn't look right, but when you put this on there, okay, because here's our patch. That's our patch panel, it goes right there. Can you see that?
That light didn't help a bit.
Okay. Look over here, narcissist, complainer. This is our rust. Somebody replaced this once before. If you look right there, see that right there where you can see where it was, they didn't even cut it off, they just kind of just put a piece of metal right there. Do you see that? So this whole corner's rotted out, so I cut all this out, all the rust out, and then this is the panel that I cut off right here, and it was on there. So I've been working on this all day since this morning. So I came up with this deal here to add on to this, and this is what you call ingenuity, imagination, saving money, and that kind of stuff. So this is actually 20 gauge steel, and I think it'll work fine. And I got it to where it'll fit right in here, just like a puzzle. Do you see that right there?
Yeah.
So it fits just great. Now I still got to clean all this up. All right, that edge. So we'll put that right there. And we're not working with $6 million worth of sheet metal tools here, guys. We're working with hammers, pliers, vice grips, cutting wheels. All right, that's what we're working with. And this is how you do it, this way. Okay, that's what the deal is. It's this way.
It's called fabrication.
Okay, well, there's 2 or 3 different kinds of fabrication. If you want to take your car to the big boy that's going to charge $300 to $500 an hour, he's going to have the $6 million fucking shop. Okay?
English wheels and all that good stuff.
Exactly. All right. Now, who's the real narcissist, him or me?
You don't even know what that means, Pete.
Okay. Well, you don't need to throw it out there like that.
Well, quit acting like you're the only person in the fucking world.
Ain't nobody the only person here.
You act like you're the only person.
You're here too.
I know.
Okay.
Remember that.
So, what I did, I cut this. Now, I will weld that together to fit in there. And then we're going to take, and if you notice, there's a little lip right here, and that fits over here. So that goes like that. And then we'll put this right here, okay? Because I've been messing with this for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. And yeah, if the owner would have bought an inner fender well, we could have just cut that end off and welded it on there. But the thing is, an inner fender well is probably $150. And this is the kicker when you buy inner fender wells like this, a big giant inner fender well, or a whole quarter panel, is that they get you on the shipping.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been $200 at least to ship this in the mail, $200. So that's where you get to the point and you say, I got to learn how to make stuff work. Do we see this outside? Are you going to look at this?
It's inside.
You're not going to see it.
You'll never see
So as long as it serves for the purpose of what we're doing, that's all we care about. That's it. This piece right here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll get this welded on here. There it is right there. I'll get this welded on. I still got to clean it up, and then we'll come back and look at that. But what we're doing, we're restoring our 71 Chevy Chevelle, and it's coming along great. We got that side done. I got to finish this up. Now I'm going to go ahead and make my own pieces for this. I'm going to make two pieces. I'm going to make one for in here, and I'm going to make one out here, and then I'll weld that up and then grind it down, and it'll be nice. But up here, it's great. We don't have to do anything. But right here, it's really, look at that. From here all the way up to here, it's rotted. And if you look in here, you can see where it's rotted. So I'll take my cardboard and I'll make a pattern of this. I'll cut it out with the 20 gauge, and then I'll cut this out. I'll make a pattern. I'll put the two together, and then we'll weld it all in there, and that should fix that. The only other rust that I found in this car was up on the back window and both the fenders. Other than that, this car is super clean. So let me get back to work, and we'll be back. Not today, probably. This is going to take more than a day to finish, and we'll see where we're at then. Take it easy.
Thanks for watching D.I.Y. Automotive School. Classes don't stop till you know everything.